Have you ever pondered what secrets lurk beneath the flawless facade of someone who promised to be your lifelong companion? I'm Thomas Bennett, a 50-year-old structural engineer residing in the peaceful outskirts of Portland, Oregon. For 23 years, I believed I had everything. A captivating wife named Sarah, a thriving commercial property consultant whose presence could illuminate any gathering, and two accomplished children, Emma and Lucas, who never ceased to make me beam with pride. While I spent my days designing and overseeing construction projects, Sarah managed our household and financial matters with an elegance I constantly marveled at. We had carefully constructed what appeared to be an unshakable life, a union founded on mutual faith and collective aspirations. Yet perfection often proves delicate. Recently, I began detecting subtle changes. Sarah's business appointments extended into weekends, her elegant silver briefcase becoming her constant companion. Her smartphone transformed into a closely guarded possession, secured with an unknown password, constantly vibrating with mysterious late-night communications she dismissed as business-related. Unexplained purchases started appearing. A sophisticated watch here, a luxury handbag there, explained away with casual references to client appreciation gifts. I observed these warning signs, felt the growing disquiet, but chose to dismiss them. After all, our relationship was built on love and trust. That was our arrangement. I provided the security while she kept our lives running seamlessly. Then arrived the evening that shattered everything. I was alone in our kitchen, the house shrouded in darkness, attempting to arrange payment for some foundation repairs. That's when I accessed our shared savings account. The figure on the screen made my blood run cold. $2,147. Where once lay $620,000, our carefully accumulated retirement fund now remained only a meager sum. My fingers trembled as I reviewed the transaction history, discovering a massive withdrawal dated just 48 hours prior, transferred to an unfamiliar account. Terror gripped my heart as my mind desperately sought explanations that remained elusive. Before I could comprehend the situation, the garage door whirred to life. Sarah had returned. Her footsteps resonated through the silent house, each click of her shoes like a ticking clock. She emerged in the doorframe, her blonde hair catching the dim light, wearing her characteristic warm smile. "Thomas, why are you sitting here in the darkness?" she inquired, her voice melodious and familiar, the same voice that had comforted me through countless challenges. I switched on the light, observing as she adjusted to the sudden illumination. Her blue eyes locked with mine, composed and inscrutable. I couldn't contain myself any longer. "The money, Sarah. Where is it?" The words emerged harsh and heavy with foreboding. Her welcoming smile faltered, revealing cracks in her perfectly maintained composure. For a brief moment, something flickered across her features, perhaps fear or possibly guilt, before her expression hardened into stubborn resistance. "What are you talking about, Thomas?" she responded, her voice unnaturally steady, too well rehearsed. I stood motionless, gazing at the woman who had been my partner for over 2 decades, and felt a devastating realization settle like ice in my veins. She was deceiving me. In that instant, I understood that the life I had desperately held onto was disintegrating before my eyes. Now, before we delve deeper into this serpentine narrative, I'd like to take a moment to connect with you, my listeners. Share with us your location, whether you're tuning in from a vibrant metropolis or a serene suburb like mine. If this story resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe to stay updated, because the events that follow become even more incredible, and I wasn't prepared for them. Perhaps you won't be either. The confrontation intensified rapidly. I pushed harder, questioning her about the account and the vanished funds. She retaliated, her voice taking on an unfamiliar sharpness. "You're questioning my loyalty after everything I've sacrificed for this family." Her words cut deep, dripping with reproach, transforming my uncertainty into self-doubt. Then came the unexpected strike. "If you can't have faith in me, perhaps this marriage isn't worth preserving." She snatched her keys and rushed out, the door thundering shut in her wake. I remained alone in our kitchen, engulfed by deafening silence, wondering how 23 years could dissolve so swiftly. Instinctively, I knew this transcended mere financial matters. Something more sinister was at play, and I had to uncover it. Sarah's exit left me stranded in what now felt like an empty shell rather than our home. Sleep eluded me that night. My thoughts raced with her biting remarks and that artificial smile, replaying our confrontation until reality blurred. I needed concrete answers, not empty justifications. By daybreak, exhaustion yielded to determination. I retrieved my laptop from the disheveled office desk and accessed our bank account again, resolved to track the missing $620,000 that had decimated our savings. The page loaded painfully slowly, each moment stretching my anxiety further. Then I discovered it. A single transaction, $620,000 transferred 2 days prior to an account belonging to Victor Callahan. The name held no significance, just a stranger's signature on the theft of my future. I gaped at the transaction, my heart thundering against my ribs. Victor Callahan. With trembling fingers, I entered the name into a search engine. Multiple social media profiles appeared, and one immediately grabbed my attention. A man around 35, with perfectly styled hair, bronze complexion, flashing a confident smile in an expensive suit. His Facebook profile was unrestricted, showcasing a life of luxury. As I scrolled, my throat constricted. A photo posted just the previous day made my world spin. Sarah was standing with Victor on a luxurious yacht's deck, the Pacific waters shimmering behind them off California's coastline. She was wearing a scarlet two-piece, her arm casually draped around his waist, sporting an unfamiliar diamond ring. His caption felt like a knife to my gut. Living the high life with my dream woman. Big thanks to the guy in Denver for footing the bill. My fingers curled into tight fists, tears of anger blurring my vision of the screen. Each new image I discovered felt like another betrayal. Sarah sharing drinks with Victor at an upscale rooftop venue, toasting with crystal flutes. Sarah stretched out on pristine sand, designer sunglasses pushed up on her head, his possessive hand resting on her leg. Suddenly, my phone lit up in the darkness, a message notification appearing. Victor Callahan had sent me a direct message. "She mentioned you're a pushover who always forgives," it read. "You should be grateful I took her away." The phone slipped from my grasp, clattering loudly in the quiet room. My throat closed up with a suffocating mixture of rage and shame. Suppressed memories came rushing back, each one now painfully clear. All those San Diego trips Sarah claimed were for business conferences, packing clothes I never saw her wear at home. That mysterious masculine cologne lingering on her jacket after returning, dismissed as coming from a packed elevator. Those secretive phone conversations late at night, her voice dropping when I walked in, always explaining it away as urgent work matters. That expensive silver bracelet she showed off recently, crediting it to a thankful client, though I never pressed for more information. I'd ignored it all, attributing everything to her demanding career, my own misplaced trust preventing me from seeing the obvious. Now those scattered pieces formed a complete picture, a mystery I'd been too blind to solve until now. I delved deeper into Victor's profile, driven by a desperate need for answers. Another image materialized. Monica and Victor in a dimly lit nightclub, his mouth grazing her cheek while stacks of bills lay scattered across their table. The timestamp revealed this was from last week, when she claimed to be viewing properties in Boulder. The room began to spin as the truth crashed over me. This wasn't some casual affair. This was calculated deception, bankrolled by the very life we'd constructed together. My hand trembled over the screen, tempted to call her, to unleash my fury, to force her to confront me. But something icier took control. She assumed I'd remain the naive husband, endlessly swallowing her deceptions. She had gravely miscalculated. Victor's taunting words echoed in my mind. A pushover who always forgives. I sank back, the chair groaning beneath me, and felt an internal transformation. The trusting man I once had vanished. In his place emerged someone prepared for battle, determined to expose every layer of her duplicity. Victor Callahan might be a stranger now, but I would uncover everything about him. And Monica, my wife of 23 years, would face the consequences. The game she'd initiated was far from finished. Victor's mocking message festered in my thoughts like an untreatable wound. After witnessing his arrogant expression in that yacht photo with Monica, I knew inaction wasn't an option. I needed to regain control, to orchestrate my response. By midday, I found myself in an elegant office in downtown Denver, facing Gregory Marshall, a divorce attorney renowned for his ruthless exposure of lies. His charcoal suit matched his steely gaze as he examined the bank statements and screenshots I brought, his fingers drumming rhythmically on his desk. He leaned in, speaking with quiet authority. "We have a promising foundation, Daniel," he stated, "but we need more evidence to trap her. Maintain absolute secrecy. She can't suspect our strategy." I agreed silently, my jaw clenched. "Composure. Meet Sophia Tran from Gregory Marshall's office. She's here about the $620,000 you appropriated." Monica began to protest, but I interrupted her. "I've discovered the transfer to Victor Callahan. I've seen everything: the yacht, the ring, the social media posts." Her features tightened as color crept up her neck. She leaned in, fingers tapping rhythmically on the table. "You're being absurd, Dan. It's a legitimate investment, a property deal Victor's managing. You're making mountains out of molehills." Her response seemed rehearsed, but her anxious glances at Sophia betrayed her unease. I pushed a printed document across the table, Victor's arrogant words facing her. She glimpsed it briefly, then looked away, her breathing uneven. Before she could fabricate another story, footsteps descended the stairs. Clara and Owen appeared, their presence commanding the room like an impenetrable barrier. Monica's gaze darted between them, her carefully maintained facade beginning to crack. Clara broke the tense silence, her voice sharp as winter frost. "We found the photographs, Mother. The evidence of you and Victor squandering Father's money while feeding us lies." Owen advanced, his hands balled into tight fists. "I witnessed you with him in Boulder last spring. You claimed he was just a client. I was foolish enough to trust you." His voice quivered with barely contained anger and betrayal. Monica pushed back from the table abruptly, her eyes flashing with fury. "You're poisoning my children against me," she snarled, jabbing an accusatory finger in my direction. "This is despicable, Dan. You're delusional, distorting reality." Sophia calmly opened her portfolio, her professional tone slicing through the emotional tempest. "Mrs. Hayes, I present you with divorce papers, effective immediately. Based on the evidence, the court has already frozen your financial accounts." Monica's outstretched hand halted midair, the color vanishing from her face. She snatched the documents, scanning them frantically before hurling them aside. "This isn't the end," she hissed venomously. "You'll live to regret involving our family in this catastrophe." Grabbing her luggage, she stormed toward the exit, her heels thundering against the floor. I called after her, my voice steeled with resolve. "You orchestrated this disaster yourself, Monica." She departed without a backward glance, the door slamming violently behind her. Clara's hand found my shoulder, while Owen stared intently at the ground. Sophia methodically collected the scattered paperwork, maintaining her professional demeanor. "She's shaken," she observed. "That works in our favor." I nodded, though my heart felt leaden. The woman I'd once cherished had just walked away, her true nature exposed, promising a battle I knew she'd wage relentlessly. My children stood beside me, but uncertainty charged the atmosphere. Whatever challenges lay ahead, we'd confront them as one. Monica's volatile departure left an electric silence, her threat lingering like a toxic cloud. Clara and Owen remained close that evening, their solidarity a bulwark against her unleashed chaos. Sleep eluded me. Gregory's call came at first light, his voice precise and businesslike. "We're accelerating our timeline," he informed me. "Patricia Evans, our forensic accountant, has traced the money." I sat at the dining table, clutching a cup of black coffee, while Sophia sent progress updates. They discovered the trail, $450,000 of the embezzled funds channeled through a Nevada shell corporation, registered in Monica's name merely 3 months prior. My fingers tightened around the hot mug, scalding my palm. She'd orchestrated everything, each calculated move, long before suspicion had crossed my mind. Time dissolved into an endless stream of telephone conversations and midnight planning meetings. Patricia meticulously tracked the remaining $170,000 to extravagant indulgences, a chartered yacht off San Diego's coast, lavish hotel accommodations, and a personalized timepiece bearing Victor's monogram. Each revelation strengthened my determination, though Gregory had his sights set on bigger quarry. He confronted Victor's attorney, a timid individual clearly overwhelmed by the situation, presenting an unmistakable choice. Assist us, or face prosecution for money laundering, Gregory warned. Victor crumbled swiftly. Within days, a messenger delivered a substantial envelope to Gregory's doorstep. Inside lay extensive message exchanges between Victor and Monica, revealing their elaborate plot. They had schemed to empty our accounts, escape to Mexico, leaving me destitute. One particular message from Monica, dated 30 days prior, caught my attention. Dan won't resist. He never does. I passed the documentation to Gregory, maintaining outward composure despite my internal turmoil. He grinned, examining the contents. This is invaluable, he declared. She's finished. We arranged a settlement conference, and I steel myself for the culminating confrontation. The appointed day arrived, dreary and bitter, matching my unwavering resolve as I entered Gregory's meeting space. Monica occupied the opposite chair, immaculately dressed, yet visibly strained, accompanied by legal counsel who resembled more a desperate peddler than an attorney. Her eyes met mine, filled with hostility, but I maintained my stance, unwavering. Gregory initiated proceedings with measured words. Our goal is a clean resolution, he stated. Complete restitution of the $450,000, plus property and primary holdings to Daniel. Monica's representative stammered protests against these conditions. She leaned in, her words dripping with venom. You're living in fantasy if you expect my agreement, she spat. I've earned every cent equally. Gregory slid the envelope across, spilling its contents. Her eyes fixed on the messages, recognition evident. Victor revealed everything, Gregory explained, his tone controlled yet piercing. Your escape strategy, the shell company, everything. The court won't tolerate fraud. Monica's attorney blanched, his trembling fingers sifting through the messages. She snatched one particular document, her breath hitching as she recognized her own words. Her gaze whipped toward me, her features contorting with unbridled rage. You manipulative bastard, she snarled. You turned him against me as well. I maintained my silence, allowing the evidence to speak volumes. Gregory pressed forward. Sign the agreement now, or we'll pursue this in court. You stand to lose far more than just finances. Her lawyer leaned in, whispering frantically in her ear. His complexion flushed, but she roughly pushed him aside. The conference room hung in tense anticipation, the wall clocks ticking thunderous in the stillness. Eventually, she seized a pen, her hand quivering, and hastily signed the agreement. Rising abruptly, her chair grating against the floor, she fixed me with a venomous stare. Savor your triumph, Dan. It won't endure, she spat before storming out, her heels echoing down the corridor. As months unfolded, information filtered through shared acquaintances. Monica had relocated to San Diego, settling into a modest apartment near the harbor. Victor lingered only until he depleted her remaining funds, then disappeared, pursuing wealthier targets. Her real estate connections had crumbled, her professional reputation destroyed by circulating rumors of the scandal. From my porch, with Clara beside me and Owen sending updates from Boulder, I contemplated the aftermath. Though the house was restored to me and the accounts replenished, victory felt empty. Gregory had delivered swift, merciless justice, yet the weight of those 23 wasted years haunted me like phantom limbs. As the settlement documents dried, the Denver residence felt oppressively vast and desolate. I wandered through its rooms one final time, my footsteps reverberating off walls that once resonated with joy, now silent observers to a shattered life. Clara gently suggested a fresh start during a late-night conversation. Owen concurred, sharing images of Colorado Springs, a serene city embraced by the Rockies. Within a month, I sold the property, exchanging suburban excess for a humble cabin on the town's periphery. The movers delivered my final belongings as twilight bathed the mountains in violet hues, the crisp mountain air carrying whispers of possibility I hadn't experienced in years. Standing by the window, watching the peaks illuminate, I allowed the burden of my past to settle. Work became my salvation. I immersed myself in an ambitious bridge project across a treacherous canyon, the type of engineering challenge that demanded unwavering concentration. steel girders stretched toward the horizon, each precise weld representing a small triumph, proof that I could still create something enduring. My team respected the relentless hours I invested, their silent acknowledgement helping fill the void left by Monica's deception. On weekends, Clara drove south from Seattle, her practical nature evident as she organized cabinets or repaired the cabin's temperamental plumbing. Owen would trek in from Boulder, his backpack casually slung across his shoulder, his understated presence easing the isolation. We'd gather around the backyard fire pit, toasting marshmallows, sharing childhood memories I'd nearly forgotten. Their genuine laughter gradually mended my spirit, one delicate strand at a time. Yet darkness persisted. One night, I discovered a wrinkled letter tucked away in a drawer. Monica's distinctive penmanship sprawled across the page. She'd sent it weeks after the settlement, without any return address. Dan, you think you want it read? You'll never know what I gave up for you. I studied those words, my heart racing. Gave up. The bitter irony cut deep, a final bar from someone who'd exchanged our shared life for an illusion. I dropped it into the flames, watching it disintegrate, but her presence lingered like a stubborn shadow. Stories filtered through mutual friends. Monica confined to a cramped San Diego studio, her real estate credentials revoked after clients discovered the fraud. Victor had vanished, leaving a wake of unpaid debts and an irate landlord demanding payment. She'd reached out to a common friend once, her speech impaired by alcohol, desperately seeking money no one would provide. I imagined her there, isolated near the harbor, the glamorous life she'd pursued reduced to fading paint and bitter remorse. The cabin's solitude provided room for reflection, sometimes overwhelmingly so. I'd settle on the porch, watching steam rise from my untouched coffee, extracting wisdom from the debris. Trust, I discovered, required careful consideration. Monica's charm had concealed an insatiable greed I'd overlooked, her allure a snare I'd willingly entered. But my lessons extended beyond wariness. I discovered my inherent value, measured not in financial terms or time invested, but in the resilience to persevere when she'd expected surrender. Clara and Owen showed me that family transcended blood ties, forged instead through unwavering loyalty. And contentment, I realized, resided in life's simple pleasures. Boots crunching on gravel, a welder's steady rhythm, the comfort of hot coffee on a brisk morning. One night, a fierce storm descended, its thunder shaking the cabin's windows with primal force. I watched transfixed as lightning carved through the darkness, briefly illuminating the mountain peaks in harsh, electric clarity. My phone screen suddenly blazed with a message from an unfamiliar number. I'm sorry, Dan. I know it's too late now. Without hesitation, I deleted it, recognizing Monica's desperate attempt at contact. The rain hammered against the roof like an incessant drum, but I felt no pull to respond to that ghost from my past. She had methodically constructed her own downfall, while I had carefully rebuilt my life from the wreckage. As the storm gradually subsided, a profound stillness enveloped everything. Stepping outside, I inhaled deeply, the rain-soaked earth fragrant with pine, savoring a hard-won sense of liberation. And that's where this story concludes, dear readers. I've shared it all, the devastation, the struggle, the peaceful aftermath. Did this ending resonate with you, or did it surprise you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like and subscribe for future stories. Thank you for walking this path with me. Until our next tale.